like to sing Raghupati Raghava? And Prabhupada said, no. He said, just Hari Krishna. So that was an instance where after Prabhupada had introduced that, but then when it was even at a general program, he said, no, you just chant Hari Krishna, that's sufficient, that's fine. And I've already told you about when he had me go out and stop this devotee from singing it on the microphone in Vrindavan. So, you know, that was Prabhupada's general mood. Of course, there's many bhajans that Prabhupada sang. We have heaps and heaps of, you know, recordings. Prabhupada singing all different songs of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and that's fine, you can sing all of those. But the real focus that he wanted was just Hare Krishna. Yeah. So at least in Arati, you know, especially in Aratis, because we have our standard Arati songs, we sing, you know, the Govishtakam prayers for the Mangal Arati. And in the evening Arati, we sing the Gaura Arati song. But apart from that, you know, practically everything else is just Prabhupada's pranams, the Maha Mantra for the Panchatattva, and then the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and that's sufficient. And then Prabhupada added to that, you know, Hari Harai Nama Krishna, that song. So, you know, when you have to judge the situation. When you're in, say, like a bhajan situation, you do a program. You know, it's nice, you can sing a couple of the different songs, but still, you know, the main thing is getting people to chant Hare Krishna. And as Prabhupada said, there's no need to introduce, you know, extra things. Whatever standard that he had given, that's sufficient, that's all. And he said the problem with our devotees is that they always want something new. He said he told us in Los Angeles, actually when he had seen, he had come back to Los Angeles, and during the year that he was away, they had changed the canopies that were above the deities, and they put some other thing up. They originally had some cloth thing. Then they thought they'd improve it. They spent $100,000 on making these hand-painted wooden, like roof canopies above the deities, and they were all painted with gold leaf, real gold leaf. Cost them $100,000. Prabhupada was really upset. He said, why didn't you ask me first? He said, they just look like cheap painted wood. He didn't really, you know, they'd spent so much money and they didn't come out very nicely at all. And then he told me, he told them, he said, this is your disease. He said, you're never satisfied with what you already have. You always want to change things. And then he quoted some little Bengali ditty. You know, do something new, stand on your hands and clap your feet, but do something new. He said, whereas we, you know, we only do what we've been doing for thousands of years. We don't change. But he said, this is your disease, you always want to change. So we have to be careful, we have to be satisfied with, you know, the programs that Prabhupada gave us. There's a lot more I could say about new styles of chanting that have crept into ISKCON, but I won't at this point. We may deal with that later on. Any other questions or comments? Yes, please.
Who did Srila Prabhupada ever speak to you, or at any place where you had a clung worship of Shrila's, Giriraj, Shrilan?
Yes, there was a little bit that came up about Shaligram Shilas, and just let me check, and I think that that's actually coming up. If it is, I'll wait until we deal with that. It's not in there. Okay, I'll just try to do this from memory. I've got got something written, I have to look it up. But at the time when I travelled with Prabhupada, worship of the Shalagram Shila was not common. Prabhupada had not introduced it into ISKCON. And he, in fact, when the Chaitanya Charitamrita had been published in 74, 75, he does make a comment there that at the time of writing he had not introduced Shalagram Shila worship, but that he wanted to, and that he was very shortly going to introduce that. One of the first temples that was allowed to worship Shalagram Shila was New Vrindavan. And Prabhupada in fact gave a Shalagram Shila to Kaladri Prabhu, who was the temple president there, when he came to see Prabhupada at the end of 76 in Bombay. And I think in Mayapur also, Prabhupada had given a Shalagram Shila to Pankajanga and Janadivas for them to worship, but he was very cautious about Shalagram Shila worship. He wanted to make sure that the devotees had learned the whole standards very, very thoroughly, because he knew that when you worship Shalagram, because it's directly Lord Narayan himself, if you make any mistakes or any offences, it has very, very serious consequences. So he wanted to make sure that his temples were actually steady in their worship and to a high standard. Maybe in New York also they may have had like that. Now every temple practically we have, but in those days practically there was nobody that had them. I mentioned just now about Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya, this South Indian Brahmin and his crew that opened the Hyderabad temple. So when they left after that opening, they came to see Prabhupada for a last darshan, and they gave Prabhupada a Shalagram Shila as a gift. So Prabhupada immediately called Pradyumnari. Yeah, he said he's Panditji, so he can have it. And then he told him, now you worship this Shalagram Shila, you and your wife between you. He said, and just do it very simply. You just bathe with Ganga Jal, offer some tulsi leaves, and chant the mantras, that's half an hour, finished. So that was it. Pradyumni took up the worship of Shalagram Shila. I don't know what he did with that Shila actually. I heard him giving it away somewhere. But that was one instance there where Prabhupada had an individual style of worship. And of course we know that his father used to travel with Shalagram Shila around his neck in a silk pouch. And wherever he went, every day, without fail, he would do his puja to the Shalagram Shila. And Prabhupada said when he was a child, sometimes they would wake up, in the night time when his father had come back from work, he would do his puja and they would wake up to the sound of the bells ringing as he was doing his puja there. So Shalagram Shila is definitely very much part of our tradition, but at the same time has to be done very, very cautiously. And then of course there's Govardhan Shila, worshipping the Govardhans. Now when the devotees first went to India, Prabhupada taken them on a tour of Vrindavan. They got to Varshan, they went to Govardhan, they went to Vrindavan, and apparently some of the devotees, they knew that you worship Govardhan. So they had collected some rocks from Govardhan. And when Prabhupada found out, he got really angry, and they were all made to take them and put them back again, because they weren't ready for it. So it requires a lot of qualification to worship the Shalagram Shilas. I'm just trying to think if there's any other things I can think of. There was something else I had in my mind, it's gone now. If I think about it, I'll tell you. But what I'll do is I'll do a search through my, I have a database with all my books on it. I'll do a search through that and I'll see if I can find anything about the Shalagrams, and I'll include it in this, hopefully before tomorrow. Any other questions? Alright, we'll finish. One more?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the worship of Tulsi, Prabhupada introduced that directly?
Yes. Of course, Prabhupada makes that comment in the Bhagavatam, how happy he was when Govinda Dasi managed to grow tulsis in ISKCON for the first time in Hawaii. He said up until that point he was feeling very disappointed that he couldn't offer tulsi leaves to Krishna in the West. And he pushed many times to try to get the devotees to figure out how to grow tulsi in the Western countries. Eventually we got it down with the heated glass houses and things like that. But yeah, he was very, very keen on that. And there was also a long letter that came from Brinda, not Brinda Gassi, what's her name? One of the devotees, the Tulsi Pujari, who was in Los Angeles in '76. I just forget her name. It's gone. Anyway, she sent a long list of about 17 questions to Prabhupada about Tulsi worship, which Prabhupada responded to. So I won't say anything about that. Again, I'll try and put that in on this seminar. So we'll deal with that. I'll bring those up during one, I think volume 4 or something in one book. But Tulsi, yeah, definitely. Prabhupada very much wanted Tulsi worship. And one story I can tell you about Tulsi. Prabhupada came up on the roof of the Lotus building in Mayapur when we first arrived. They had a little kind of garden there, and they had Tulsis growing in pots on the roof. So one day Prabhupada came up and he saw there was a lota standing near one of the Tulsi pots, and it looked like it had been used to water them. He got very angry, and he asked the devotees, because there was a toilet that Prabhupada used, which was on the roof, and he asked Jayapataka to check in the toilet and see if the lota was in the toilet. When he looked, it wasn't, and then that confirmed what Prabhupada thought, that the lota that was standing next to the Tulsi plants was the one that he was using, to wash himself when he passed stool. So he got really angry and he demanded to know who has done this. He said, this is a big offense. You're using the same pot for watering the Tulsi plant. That means that you don't understand who Tulsi Devi is. You think she's just a plant. So even a small thing like that, Prabhupada, is very concerned about. Alright, so we'll finish. Srila Prabhupada,